All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2026. It is 9:01 a.m. All council members are present, including town manager, deputy town manager, town clerk, and town attorney. If you'll please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
As we begin today's meeting, let us take a moment to appreciate the privilege of living in this beautiful community we call home and the opportunity to serve it. May we remember the joy and beauty that surround us each day, and may our decisions reflect a genuine commitment to the people we serve. Give us patience when challenges arise, resilience when the path is difficult, and wisdom to move forward with purpose and care. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the approval of the final agenda. The only thing is we have Joy Sullivan from BORCAB is here to give an update for the BORCAB committee. Is there any other changes to the final agenda? Is there a
Move to approve is amended.
A motion by Councilor King,
Second.
seconded by Councilor McLean. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is public comment. Amy?
First up, I have Marianne Shealy. And following Marianne will be Lori Webster.
Hi, I'm Marianne Shealy. I'm on the Town Audit Committee for the past 3 years, and recently there's been a lot of social media posts about the Audit Committee not meeting, being the reason for the town's financial problems. Why haven't we met? I get an email every month saying we're canceled. And this month, about 2 weeks ago, I got asked for dates. I live full-time on the island. I said I'm available, and we still don't have a meeting date set. So, just wondering.
Well, Marianne, have you meet with the staff after public comment, and
Okay.
I'm sure they can get you the answers.
Okay,
that you
it's
need.
just, I really don't like being called out on social media for something that's out of my control. I'm a local business leader, a business owner, sorry, local business owner. And, we are volunteers. We want to meet, we want to help the town. And I know there's been some staff changes, but, we're ready and willing to help. So I'd like to.
Thank you, Marianne.
Thanks.
Lori Webster, and that's all I have signed up.
Good morning. My name is Lori Webster, and I live on Curlew Street. I hope you enjoyed your month off from meetings and came back rested, because there's much work to be done. Unfortunately, the town finds itself with mud on its face, and that's not acceptable. The town is in a bind because, as most of us can sympathize with, we find ourselves at the mercy of our champagne budget, our champagne taste with our beer budget. In the midst of known shortfalls, we are both looking at tax increases and unprecedented hiring. It doesn't make financial sense. At the same time, while doing budget reviews, anomalies were discovered, and the people potentially responsible were placed on a 2-week paid administrative leave. We were told yesterday during the Beach Talk radio show by our town manager that the third-party auditor's work could take 4 weeks, and we are just getting started. While I understand, as explained by the town manager, that it takes time to investigate internally, vet vendors, and negotiate parameters, the timing still seems off to me. In my simple little brain, that should have been done while the internal investigation, audit, whatever term you want to give it, was happening. Hiring an outside firm to run the forensic audit should have been step 1. It was not. Now we find ourselves 2 weeks out. That means that while we are struggling to balance a budget, we are paying 2 employees to take a 6-week plus vacation. That is not acceptable. I asked the town manager if there was a cap on that and was told at this time there is not. It is not reasonable to continue paying their salaries at a time when needed and promised projects are being shelved for lack of funds. That is not acceptable. We haven't even addressed the elephant in the corner, which is the fact that if the audit confirms there were corners cut, steps skipped, or funds misappropriated, the town is now on the hook to pay those funds back. The processes which, while cumbersome, are very well outlined, were not met. This puts the town under even more financial burden. Say it with me, this is not acceptable. While I understand that HR matters are a slippery slope and hard for our town manager to address publicly, you cannot deny that more transparency is necessary, especially while we are facing down a potential millage rate increase. I just want to urge you to take steps to cap the paid leave. We cannot keep paying them to stay home while we are bleeding money from every pore, because that is not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
That is all I have signed up.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Next is the local achievements and recognitions. We'll do the counselors first, and then we'll go to the Citizen of Distinction Award, if that's all right. Counselor King?
Thank you, Mayor. Vice Mayor Safford and I had the pleasure to attend the 26th Annual Elaine McLaughlin Outstanding Hospitality Service Awards, put on by the Lee County Visitor and Convention Bureau. 6 town employees were nominated for the awards. There are Aaron Adkins, Sandra Breitez, Skylar Henry, Lisa Hollywood, Seth Jacobs, and Barbara McDonald. Aaron Adkins was also an honorable mention winner in the other services/business category, and I just want to say congratulations to all these employees and thanks for all they do. Also, on Friday, I had the pleasure of attending the Fort Myers Beach Pier groundbreaking. I thought it was a great event. I need to especially recognize Cindy and Alan Chinaski for all they contributed to make this project what it is. Cindy, Alan, and their dog Brody visited so many piers and helped shape this newer, longer, wider, and more resilient pier. They did this on their own dime because they love this community and that pier, and thank you for that.
Vice Mayor Safford?
I'd like to echo both those sentiments. It was fantastic, the E Awards. I am so proud of our town. Out of all the towns, cities, municipalities in Lee County, we had the most nominations, and that says a lot for our service. It's a great reflection on you, Will. I mean, great. It was an honor to be there and to represent Fort Myers Beach. I'd also like to thank the Shanowskis and as well the peer committee. You know, it started as Let's Go FMB, and the peer committee just took off and ran with it. And if you can see what unity can do, working together, and, you know, Alan and his wife for sure the MVPs, but that entire committee, they kept pushing. They did surveys. They found out the pier was really important. Council was busy. Council gave us the blessing to move forward and, make the community better. And, we also had to try to figure out how to pay for it. And they, Alan, he's like a dog with a bone, man. He was fantastic. So kudos. I can't wait for the ribbon cutting, and let's move forward together.
Rebecca?
I want to echo the same thing. Alan and Cindy Chinaski, we met early on in the Let's Go FMB, and most of the people on this council were a part of that organization when it first started. But not only did they spend a tremendous amount of time, they drove all over the state. They looked at piers, they took notes, they made presentations. This wasn't just a committee that you work on for a few hours. This was a lot of time, a lot of gasoline, and they also spent a lot of their own money. So I want to thank them as well. Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I really don't have much to add to what everybody said. It was amongst many of us part of the Let's Go FMB, and to see Alan and Cindy really take off on the pier was just something to behold, up and down the entire eastern seaboard. So I just want to echo everybody's comments and say, that type of citizen response immediately following the storm was something that was something to behold, and it's something that we need to embrace because that's the best of this community. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't say anything more other than I think it's a perfect example of what can be accomplished when everybody works together as opposed to against each other. It's easy to take negative things and run with it, and sometimes good things get lost in translation because of the one negative thing or two negative things. So just keep focused on what makes Fort Myers Beach. And Alan, I apologize I didn't bring your name up personally at the groundbreaking. I meant to do that, but as I always do, I don't write anything down, so sometimes it slips my mind of what I'm supposed to say. But a appreciate all the work that you and the entire committee, you're right, Scott, the entire committee had a lot to do with it. Had it not been for that work, I don't know that we'd be where we're at with the pier. Yes, it's taken 4 years, but in a year from now, it'll seem like it was yesterday. So can't wait for that ribbon cutting. Next, we have the 2026 Citizen of Distinction Award. We have 4 people. So we have 1 ballot here, but there's 2 categories. So are we just writing down
We
one
can
person
turn
for
that
each
into-
one and right next to it? Or how do you want to?
One has 3. You could vote on that one and just nominate the other one that's individual, if you'd like.
So these are arts?
Got it, okay. So, I see what you're saying. Well, for those that don't know the names, there's Christine Beggy. She's the president and CEO of Wonderful Creations 777 Inc. And we have Rosemary Bishton. Those who don't know, she's the lady that does the flowers on the north end of the island that is in that camper. Obviously, their building is completely gone. Don Miller, the founder and president of What's Up FMB. I think everybody knows who she is. And Joy and Kevin Sullivan, I think everyone knows who they are as well. There are 3 nominees for the arts and culture and 1 for the beach heritage. So we will select 2, one of the top 3, and then obviously Joy is the only one
Joy
nominated
and
for
her
beach.
husband are nominated for the Heritage Award.
Correct.
And as you can
Thank
tell,
you
she
all
did
for your
that.
work. It's nice to have citizens. Again, it goes back to what I said just a few minutes ago, when people step up to work together with their community, what things can come out of it. Who wants to collect these?
And Mayor, we'll have
Yeah.
a formal awards presentation at a later meeting,
Correct.
closer in the fall when there's more people here.
Okay.
Sleep, these are the extras.
Is this who that was?
Webster.
Making sure I have the right one.
This is right.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Councilmember McLean, this is for the arts and...
Arts and culture.
Yeah, arts and culture. Councilmember McLean chose Don Miller. Councilmember King, Don Miller. Vice Mayor Safford, Don Miller. Mayor Allers, Don Miller. And Councilmember Link, Don Miller. So with 5 votes to Don Miller.
Make sure that's what they voted.
Is that how everybody voted? I'm sorry.
Council
It
McLean?
is.
Yes.
Yes. Scott?
Yes.
John?
Did it.
All right. Congratulations, Don. I don't see you're here.
Motion
Is there a motion to approve the results as read by the
and appoint.
town clerk?
I would like to make that motion, Mayor. I appointed or sent the letter in for Dawn, and so I'm happy to do that.
Okay, we've got a motion by Counselor Link. I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. And do we need to go through the formal process for Joy? Go ahead.
Yeah, you
And
can
Kevin?
announce what award it is, who was nominated, and take a motion and a vote, please.
Okay, so you don't want to, Nancy, do you want to go through this even though there's, just for the record?
We only have 1 nominee, so I think it's okay. I think verbally, if you just affirm that you agree that the individual should be honored, that should be sufficient, and then a motion.
Okay,
I'd like to nominate Kevin and Joy Sullivan for the Heritage Award.
okay.
Second.
Got a motion and a recommendation from Counselor McLean and seconded by Counselor Link. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Joy. You want to say anything?
And
Yeah.
would you also like to choose a grand marshal, or choose that at a later date?
Oh, can they both be grand marshals? Why do we have to pick just one? What's one extra Corvette?
I think we certainly
drive
could
my
have,
Mustang.
could have both,
I would say
absolutely.
have them both.
The parade's going to be even bigger next year.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bigger and
okay.
better.
Who doesn't like Corvettes?
I'm thankful and honored
to receive this award, and I'm sure my husband is going to be thrilled because he actually is the guy that does 40 hours a week for the south end of the island. So thank you, thank you. I'm surprised and happy about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Next is the advisory committee's items, reports, and appointments. We have a board cap, but we'll do the audit committee. Jim Dunlap is on the LPA. He's also asking to serve on the audit committee and needs a waiver to do so. Is there a motion to grant the waiver for Mr. Dunlap?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Vice Mayor Safford, seconded by Counselor King. Jim, you want to say anything before we, okay? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Thank you for stepping up. Next, we have a presentation from Joey Sullivan for BORCAB.
Good morning again. I guess you know my name is Joy Sullivan.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you as a representative of the Bay Oaks Recreational Campus Advisory Board, BORCAB. I was appointed in February 2023 and have served with several residents that gave of their time to Bay Oaks. I would like to formally recognize Betty Simpson, Barbara Hill, Bruce Butcher, Becky Guidry, Jeff Field, and Ed Schoonover for their previous service. The current members include Michelle Tierney, John Duslier, Rick Lowry, Beverly Milligan, Tina Yell, and Annie Neve, as long as myself. And we really appreciate the honor of serving on the Bay Oaks board. In our last BORCAB meeting, we formally adopted the following recommendations and request council support. First of all, we have input regarding the current pool design, which I know is coming up on the agenda later. We recommend that the town council approve changing the pool depth from 5 feet 3 inches to 5 feet. While this seems to be a small change, it may impact lifeguard certification requirements, staffing, training, and ongoing operational costs. We also request an evaluation of waterfall safety, which you'll hear about in a few minutes. We are concerned that lifeguard sightlines and pool supervision may be impacted by the current waterfall design, which may require additional staffing. In addition, we recommend that town council request that the engineering firm conduct at least one community event to obtain public input. At 30% completion, the community should be able to provide input that may affect final design. Our final recommendation regards proposed additional pickleball courts at Bay Oaks. We recommend that town council begin the process for drainage work, bidding, site selection, and acceptance of donations from the Friends of Bay Oaks for the installation of 4 pickleball courts, new pickleball courts. We do not know how the current investigation impacts the above recommendations or Bay Oaks in general. However, these recommendations reflect our view that they will improve fiscal responsibility, operational practicality, and community engagement, and will help ensure that Bay Oaks is a safe, sustainable, community-centered facility while also leveraging private investment. Thank you for your support and your time today.
Don't run off, Joy, in case there's any questions. Sorry. Don't run off yet, Joy. Counselor King, any questions for Joy?
No.
Vice Mayor Safford?
No, but thank you. I read John's email, was very detailed, and that input's going to be great for us going forward. So thank you for all your hard work.
Counselor Lake?
Yes, I want to thank you as well as the whole committee. This is a perfect example of what an advisory committee is there to do. You've spent hours, your team, analyzing, thinking about things we don't have the time to think about. So a perfect representation of an advisory committee. Thank you to all of you.
And Counselor McLean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the experience and passion that the committee shows comes through. And, excuse me, I've had the pleasure of speaking with John quite lengthily about his thoughts around the pool, and I hope that we take all of your recommendations under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you.
Great suggestions. I'm sure we'll address them at some point in today's meeting, either with the town manager or with the presentation. All right, next we have presentation. First is the Newton Park Beach Facility reconstruction. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, Council. Again, for the record, Elizabeth Fountain with J.R. Evans Engineering, and we have the pleasure today to provide a status update on the work that we've been doing for the Newton Park Beach Facility Reconstruction Project. So we are very excited to be working on this project. We know it means a lot to the council and to everybody who lives and visits within the town of Fort Myers Beach. Just to go over our understanding of the goals for this project, it is really to restore and enhance a critical, vital public facility that was once used quite a bit and enjoyed by everybody. It's really to incorporate a resilient design informed by recent storm events. It requires a balance of recreation, environmental stewardship, and public access. And ultimately, we wanted to create a public place that prioritizes sustainable design and environmental consideration, as well as community engagement. We want this place to be an opportunity for educational venues to occur, meeting places, events, things like that. A few of the key criteria for this project: we need to consider the prior conceptual plan that was realized during the R2P2 process after Hurricane Ian. There were some priorities that were identified from public comment that we need to consider for the ultimate plan. The project is supported by a CDBGR DR program, so it's grant funded, and there's requirements that the project execution and documentation has to meet. And all work must be in compliance with federal, state, and local requirements. Work completed to date. So we've been having recurring meetings with the town staff, including town manager and deputy town manager, providing updates as we move along. All the sub-consultants have been engaged and have been actively working to complete their required tasks. The environmental assessments and subsequent environmental report has been completed. No issues have been identified. The final boundary and topographic survey have been done and delivered to the town staff. We have also obtained all the utility records and other applicable data to support the design for utilities servicing the park. Our master site plan has been conceptualized and put together with the major placeholders, and I'll have that for you in just a minute. We've also completed the design of the wave mitigation enhancement to the existing retaining wall that's in place, and we've submitted that conditional letter of map revision to FEMA. So just to tie into that resiliency component, there is an existing wall out there that separates the active beach from Newton Park. We were able to verify that existing wall is a structurally sound system already and can withstand to have a structural cap added to it in order to effectuate that wave attenuation and lower that wave energy down to get to a lower risk flood zone for the property. So that, like I mentioned, the Clomer package has already been submitted to FEMA and to the town. There is an assigned case number for it. And right now, we're just waiting on FEMA's review and process. Here
Elizabeth,
is-
how
yes.
long do you expect, it won't hold you to a date, but roughly how long do these take in situations like this for FEMA to review?
I would estimate 6 months to get through the
Jeez.
process. And that's why we wanted to start it early, as soon as we could, just so that we can get that determination and be able to move forward.
So once that approval comes back from FEMA, then that allows you to move forward with actually the building and construction of the site?
Yes, we would have to get a construction permit through the town, of course, as well as make sure that we have our DEP permit, for the overall construction of the site, which would include the wall. But having that Clomer will give us a green light to move forward.
And are we doing that concurrently, like applying for permits, the DEP permit? Are we doing all of that at the time as FEMA's requiring, or are we waiting until FEMA
No,
gives the
we're going
approval?
to do it all concurrently.
Okay.
Yes. Here is a visual of our current master site plan. And with me today, I failed to mention, I have Kristen Petrie with Pergola, and she is our landscape architect for the project and the creative mind that collaborated with the team and with the town to put together this concept plan. We feel like it's a very intentional, meaningful plan that highlights and provides opportunity for, as I mentioned, those educational opportunities, really pays attention to providing a true native coastal habitat and vegetation palette. On the left is where the Strandview corridor is located. So this plan maintains the current access on Estero Boulevard, which is on the top part of the screen. So we don't have to make any changes to where that current access is. We're able to bring that access into a parking field that's really pretty much split between the Strandview corridor and half of the parking that's in the Newton Park actual property boundary. It provides 27 parking spaces with 2 ADA accessible spaces located closest to the beach, and at that point there will also be a ADA accessible beach access boardwalk to provide safe access to the beach from the parking lot and the adjoining sidewalk.
So Elizabeth, just for clarity,
Yes.
if you're looking at this picture for people at home, Strandview is on the left where the parking is, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the parking that's there currently the park is going to shift up and the parking is going to move over to that side, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The plan also locates the proposed restroom building close to Estero Boulevard, also close to the parking, and I'll highlight that structure further in the presentation. And then there's an open-air pavilion that's pretty much centralized within the park. It has been designed to hold at least 100 people, so it's a fairly significant size shade pavilion. Next slide, I'll go through some key elements that I've already mentioned. All the pathways will be ADA accessible. I did mention the beach access walkover. There's also 2 cheeky shade structures. They will be true cheeky structures located closer to the beach. The restroom building will provide 3 single occupancy rooms. So a family room, a woman's and a men's, and then also provide some enclosed areas for electrical systems that are serving the building in a janitorial area.
Elizabeth, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
is there any storage room in that building currently planned? One of the things that I'm thinking about is we have residents who will request, what is it called? We have buggies for people who, have trouble getting to the beach. So there our chairs, I think, with the big balloon tires. I'm thinking of some of the other ADA equipment that the town owns. I'm wondering if there is a storage place there. It might be a great opportunity to have them request them. We can give them to them, they return them there. Just a thought.
Yes, I think we could accommodate maybe a separate
Small
storage
storage.
structure. Yes, yeah, closer to the beach access would
Right,
probably be ideal.
right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you for that input. As I mentioned, it is designed, vegetation palette is completely native, coastal native, taken right from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection's recommended plant species for this area of Southwest Florida. The pathways we have recommended, we coordinated with town staff. We knew that they didn't want asphalt, they didn't want necessarily typical concrete, so we suggested that we use a concrete with shell aggregate. They wanted to have something that looked a little bit more natural, but still ADA compliant. We believe this is the best of both worlds. It's low maintenance, it won't be as hot as asphalt, and then it still looks more natural with the shell. And you can do all kinds of different shell mixtures based on the town's preference. The site plan does provide a small, not small, it's pretty large gathering space that's in basically the close to Estero Boulevard towards the southeast corner of the park. One alternative I proposed to town staff, and I think they're looking into it internally, is maybe provide some sort of activity feature or area for your younger visitors and families to enjoy. One such idea would be like a dry estuary where you don't have to deal with running water. You just deal with the sand, but it gives them an activity place with maybe some dune formations to climb on and maybe a small slide. Just an idea that's being considered. Right now, this is the current draft architectural plan, or, elevation view and floor plan for the restroom building concept. It will be, the structure itself will be elevated a couple feet above grade. That's why you see the steps and the ramp. But it will be supported on a foundation that is designed according to the Florida Building Code and will account for any minor wave action that still may occur on the site. But having it elevated a couple feet lessens the amount of dry floodproofing that we need to do for the doors and any openings. Open air pavilion concept, a little over 1,000 square feet of open air space, capacity for 100 people. The roof and material and things like that still need to be fine-tuned, but this is a current layout of the concept.
I was going to ask if, versus the industrial type look, was there a reason why you didn't go with the Cheeky Hut type look like you have with the other two Cheeky Huts? Would it make more sense aesthetically to just continue that theme versus, this industrial type look?
Well, I think, and this is up for refinement, I think what we were also going for was paying homage to the previous Seven Seas cottage that was there, and that trying to bring back that type of style, at least maybe from color standpoint. And
Okay.
yeah. So items are still being refined. We are finalizing our surface water management layout. So some of those green spaces that you saw in the site plan, they may become like small detention areas or areas for us to retain stormwater runoff and route it through the park so that it gets the required treatment for water quality aspects prior to discharging into the town's system on Estero Boulevard.
Elizabeth, is there any plans to have, water filling stations or like we have at Bayside Park? People love to have those, especially if they're walking or biking. If they're bringing their dogs, they could stop and refill their water
Yes.
bottles? Is there any
Yes, I
plans
failed
there?
to mention that we are locating a centralized area close to the restroom for a drinking fountain, a dog water fountain, and a foot wash.
Foot wash.
Yes. Those are elements still being refined, as well as exterior lighting through the park and in the parking lot. Obviously, we'll need to provide wayfinding signage and then look at opportunities for signage to highlight the historic aspects of the park site, and so that we don't lose that component, and then highlight species of plants that are being planted throughout the park. I mentioned that we're coordinating on potential use of that gathering space or a portion of it for maybe an activity area. Working with town staff on the needs for security and low voltage electrical service. And then fine tuning those materials and then permit coordination as we get close to submittals. So the next steps would be advancing the design drawings, continuing our coordination with FEMA during their review of the conditional letter of map revision, preparing the permit applications for the entire site development, which would include a town development order, Florida Department of Environmental Protection, CCCL construction permit, and a water management permit as well. Those target submittals are planned to happen in October. We'll continue to provide continuous updates to staff. We still have those recurring meetings, which are very helpful. And once we go through the permit process, we'll be able to finalize the actual construction documents and specifications, get those quantities, understand what the costs are, and then start talking about the bidding process for a contractor. Ideally, we would love to be, going through that bidding process like June of next year at the latest. The target date for completion is January 2nd, 2028.
Elizabeth, when you spoke about the security, is that whether or not the restrooms lock in at dusk or something like that, or what sort of considerations?
Yes, so like we're having cameras, which
Okay.
I think the town has indicated they would like to have. Stuff like, lighting, do they want security lights that might come on the pavilion or restroom? Not necessarily that are on all the time, but just when activated.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so we're here today to address any questions or obtain feedback from council.
Councilor McLean, any other questions?
Not really questions, I think feedback. I understand the historic nature of the building, but that doesn't remind me so much of what was there existing. I kind of echoed the mayor's comments about more of a natural roof line or something that is, I see the environmental vision. And I think we can pay homage to the building that was there through signage and education material, but that's a personal opinion.
Okay.
Elizabeth, something that I would ask that you consider, as well as the town staff that is involved. I had a resident reach out to me a while back with absolutely wonderful ideas. There is a community of tourists who go to different places based on their availability of events for autistic children. Actually, there's a whole range of people. And once you show the world that you are one of those places, they flood to you in the summertime when they're on vacation, because they know that we are thinking about their children. They have some special needs. She has given me wonderful examples of educational and tutorial things at parks. They are so low cost, but a huge advantage to someone who may be on the spectrum, and they learn differently. So it doesn't exclude other children using it, but it does speak to some children's unique. And so I would like to perhaps put you in contact, or our staff who are working on it. We may be able to kill two birds with one stone and also be seen as one of these sites where we have these types of activities to draw vacationers in the summertime.
Thank you.
Great idea. As a daughter that is on the spectrum, I certainly would
You could
appreciate that.
appreciate that,
Yes,
right,
yes.
right.
Scott?
No, thank you, Elizabeth, you've answered all my questions. Good work, thank you.
Counselor King?
Just to briefly, I think I heard you touch on it, and it's probably not fair for you to have to answer all of it, so maybe the town manager can weigh in. But I know in the past, when that property was acquired, the state helped with that, and there are certain things that we need to meet, and I want to make sure that those are being met.
Yes, that's why we review any ideas with the town manager and staff, because we understand that there are some conditions that need to be adhered to.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, we review periodically with Elizabeth's team, and of course, with the state requirements, and there's the CDBG-DR requirements with Lee County, as Elizabeth mentioned.
Thank you.
I guess, thank you, Elizabeth. I guess the only thing I would suggest, going off of what Joy was talking about earlier, is it possible to have a town hall, if you will, now that people are getting to see really for the first time? I mean, there was the discussions through the R2P2, right? But now you're actually seeing a conceptual idea. It'd be nice to have some input from the community to see if there's anything else that could enhance this. I think it would be well received from people that would like to have some input on it.
Okay, we will work with staff to organize that.
We will do that.
That's all I got.
Okay,
Thank you, Elizabeth.
thank you, everybody.
Looks like we have public comment on
Oh,
the
yeah,
agenda
but
with that.
Give me a second, John.
I wanted
What's
to-
in your coffee?
I wanted to give you a chance to get your glasses on.
Thank you. Public comment. Would anybody like to have any public comment on the presentation you just saw? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Next is the public community pool, the Bay Oaks Pool presentation. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, good morning. My name is Paris Tobias with Opulent Outlines.
And I'm Jason with Opulent Outlines, and we're excited to share with you guys an update and presentation we've prepared, video, some slides, and the initial engineering layout for the project that we've started.
You gotta move over a little closer so I can.
We're ready to present a video, some slides, and the initial engineering layout for the project, and then happy to field any questions and concerns, but I think we'd like to start it off and hopefully let the video speak a lot for itself and give everybody an idea where we're going so far with it, and happy to, hear anyone out on questions or recommendations. So
Take it away.
with that, I don't know if we can do any.
Eric's gonna cue it up here.
So that was the presentation we were going to go through afterwards, but we actually have a video of kind of a tour through the entire project. If maybe we could bring that up instead.
Yes.
So if you're bear with us through
Yeah.
one more video.
Yeah, that's okay.
I think the video, not the slides.
Same one.
Stand by.
Hold, please. Yeah.
That's fine.
So Jason, while we're waiting, I guess if we
Yeah.
can maybe just address a question or two that Joy had from VorCap.
Sure.
Specifically, maybe with that 5 foot 3 inches to 5 foot.
Yeah, so the 5 foot is going to be no issue whatsoever to adjust that and bring that up to 5 foot, 4 foot 11, whatever is going to help with the lifeguard requirements or safety requirements. We can easily do that. It's actually really a recommendation of ours anyway, because it's just going to make more of the pool navigable, usable, where people aren't treading water, and you'll find that it's going to spread out the amount of people that you have there. People usually shy away from the deep end or anywhere that they can't really stand up, so it's just going to even out the crowd when you have it out there also, so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in regards to the waterfall, blocking any visual perimeter or safety perimeter, the commercial requirement, we are allowed up to a certain percentage to block the perimeter, and thankfully in this particular pool, which, you know, I was strategic in that, was to pick it because it had a huge perimeter on it, and so I had some room that I was going to be able to block and still meet the code requirement for that. So I'm well within that allotment, and don't see it really being an issue. I think some strategic placement, if lifeguards are going to be a thing for you guys and on duty, that it would still accommodate without having to increase the staff.
Yeah, it's a great feature.
Yeah.
Hate to lose it, but if it's going to add cost, then you obviously have to have that conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think in addition to the staffing costs, we've heard about the operating costs,
Okay.
the increase in water, electricity, I shouldn't say water, but electricity bills, pumps, things that can break down. I don't know if you have that priced out separately, that we can weigh that as an idea.
Absolutely. When we look at it, I really am working within that original footprint, so the hydraulics of both what we're demanding for the kiddie pool and the pool aren't necessarily changing a dramatic amount, because we are going to be running the same pool. We're going to be running it with a few more returns given the extended pool with the sun shelf. We're also going to be running the same slides, so that's going to draw the same water, require the same power that it was before. And what we're adding to it is a couple waterfalls, which are going to be not necessarily high flow waterfalls. After speaking with engineering over the last week, and we dial this thing in a little bit more, we think about function, we think about the experience that you guys are going to have out there. And to drop sheets of water from 8 to 10 feet is going to be incredibly noisy. Also, doing so by dropping the water into shallow areas of water is going to wear the finish much quicker and create maintenance for you guys. So we're going to be a bit strategic and hide some rain descents, which are going to give, it's a perforated housing that shoots out rain. It's going to be much more gentle, but it's going to give that cooling effect, not nearly moving as much water whatsoever, so very little power to actually move stuff like that. And the big waterfall on the one side of the main pool, same thing. We'll build in all those housings to have rain descents coming out of there, so it's not this big, ginormous waterfall coming down that's, you know, disruptive to people, where you're having to yell at people because you're having a hard time sitting in the chair. You can still read a book and enjoy the area and space.
Perfect. And then one last thing is a question perhaps for Will. Will the grant, the CDBG-DR grant, allow us to add these extra features that were not there and be an eligible expense? I think that is something we need to be very careful of.
We are.
Do you know if
I mean,
that
so-
is an eligible
so-
expense?
So far, we're staying within the boundaries of the CDBGR. Nothing that dramatically increases the scope or, you know, size or usage of the event, of the location, which we're still within that. But we'll continue to go through as they present their design, 30% and then 60% and for on. We have, those are provided to Lee County, who reviews them as well,
Okay.
to make sure that we're staying within the parameters
The
of that
eligible
grant.
expenses.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. That's my number one concern. Thanks.
And if I can comment too, there is quite a bit of strategy involved with both the rock work being aesthetically pleasing and functional. The rock work is replacing an incredibly expensive stair way and structure leading up, which is completely unsightly to look at in the overall
Yes.
project. So
Dangerous.
the rock work itself is structural, functional, and meaningful. It's purposeful. It's there to create stairways. It's there to create the structure for the slides. It's there to create the structure for the landing for the slides. So it does really affect the multiple variables. And then when you look at it from a longevity standpoint, you guys truly are building something. Look at the condition that the slide is in now, even without the storm. It was in dire strait.
Right.
It was rough. It's steel. It's going to weather. This real stone is not going to weather. It's
Right.
always going to be there.
And we may have to make decisions that say this is not an eligible expense, but this is still the best use of taxpayer dollars. My
Yeah.
questions are, we need to have those in the front of our mind at every decision point, and then we can make those
Absolutely.
appropriately. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So, not sure where any of the other slides are, but happy to keep fielding
Yeah.
questions. I mean, really one of the main goals in designing this project was to show you guys what you could do with that space without really making tremendous dramatic changes to the hardscape itself. Yes, I'd be removing the hardscape and proposing to remove the entire hardscape that's there. But by breaking up the hardscape into different materials, combination of different stone materials for decking and artificial turf, I think, along with the planters and very strategic seating and function all throughout the project now, where families can enjoy the kids in the pool without having to necessarily commit to going to put their suit on and they're right up against the pool. There's many different vantage points and different seating areas left that we've really created for and ways to enjoy this entire space outside of just being in the pool. I think it'll be an attraction just to hang out. I mean, it's an incredible environment now.
I have one last question, and then I'll let you continue, and this may be for town management as well as Joy. We like to keep our community engaged. We know that there are parameters. We're not going to give up the grant money. Nobody wants to do that. So we have parameters. But have you worked with the BORCAB folks at all? Is this the first time, Joy, you're seeing some of these plans? How do we interact? And when, if it is appropriate, do we show some things to the community? And are there opportunities to get input, or it's kind of locked down? Just thinking about all these other stakeholders that we have,
Sure.
BORCAB and the community.
Right now, I'm just kind of going as directed and looking for whomever I'm presenting it to on a bi-weekly basis with the town reps. And then now, for the first time with you guys, we're happy to share whatever material. I'm happy to make ourselves available for additional meetings and feedback meetings. Really, what's going to make the project great is to get the community's feedback and some of the things that they're really going to enjoy. So obviously, I do my best to try and think of all different avenues and even give you guys then some more than maybe what you even thought about. So hopefully I can show you some of those things in a minute when I take you through
Perfect.
the
And in
demo.
addition to that, like we asked the folks at Newton Park, if you could consider, work with us to look for things that the pool may have that speak specifically to children that are autistic.
Okay.
That could make one more place that we have a destination for those types of families. That would be wonderful.
I would welcome that challenge, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would encourage, staff to get a presentation in front of BORCAB. We have people on that volunteer committee that are experts in pools.
Okay.
That have some really good suggestions that maybe you'll think of things that are outside anybody else's thought process, like the 5'3" to the 5 foot. I'd also encourage you to look at potential ways, as long as it's not costly, to alternative energy stuff to be able to heat the pool. I'm assuming the pool will be heated or have a heater for it, for circulation pumps, things like that.
Yep.
If there's ways to offset some of that through solar or wind or whatever we could come up with,
Absolutely.
as long as it doesn't add to the cost.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, no, I aesthetically, I think it looks beautiful, and I understand.
Mike.
Oh, sorry, aesthetically, I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and it looks like it would be a real, not just an asset, but actually become a destination for visitors as opposed to the residents in the community, a much greater participation. one of the things that I absolutely agree with the community and BORCAB feedback loop and having an iteration that allows for great ideas to come in. And something I'm thinking about as well could be, opportunity for the things that are unique about Fort Myers Beach around being a marine environment, and whether there's opportunities for, even an educational component or historical component. Just keeping an eye on honoring the past as we move forward.
Right.
Some of those elements. So, and I think those can come from the community very well.
And I will definitely welcome that and try and incorporate that to the best of my ability. And, we can talk about that more when, I'm sorry, the board cap, you said?
BORCAB, yeah.
Okay.
Joy, right behind you is your gal today.
It should be good to play the video of this.
You guys have any questions before we watch the video, or do you
I can
want?
wait.
Okay, yeah. All right, go ahead.
I got a question.
Hold on. There's public comment at the end. I want to go there right now.
I see my seat already.
So if you notice there's a walking path that goes around the entire thing with a roundabout on each end. So it's just a nice way to kind of tour the entire area and just kind of hang out and do something different too.
Right. And it's been thoughtfully curated to cater to everyone's needs, the children, families, people who want to swim, of course, and just relax. So it has many different areas for different things. It just feels open, welcoming.
Did I see water cannons there?
Is that what that was? Yeah.
Did I see water cannons there?
And we do have the engineered drawing for the slide that has come in, so kind of that dual setup is actually fitting in that area, fitting in within the design. So as long as that all comes in within budget, we'll continue to proceed that way.
John, are you volunteering for the first target of said cannon?
I was just hoping that they wouldn't swivel all the way back to where the parents are sitting. That's all.
The swim lanes also would be our recommendation, maybe to open up half of them and remove half of them, just because it's not necessarily competitive swimming. It's more of a recreation or therapy, physical therapy type of thing, but it would open up the other half of the pool. Whereas even right now, the way you guys have it set up previously, it was all taken up by the swim lanes. I think it just kind of gives half the pool back to recreation and enjoying the pool.
So you could keep half for swimming, and then you could keep half water aerobics, whatever.
Sure,
all in the
because you're
same-
definitely going to have those people that want the lanes there and want to utilize that and swim, that type of
Sure.
physical therapy, so we could accommodate both.
And there's plenty of seating areas as well as ADA compliant areas with, ADA compliant chairs and tables in the walkway.
And to me, that would be kind of a pergola in the back area of the extended deck. You could run different events, you could run different yoga programs, different wellness programs, different healthy living. So there's different shaded areas that you could definitely spread out a different variety of groups on any given day.
Jason, how about speakers for music or announcements? Is that built in?
As far as audio visual, I don't have anything built in or planned for right now. One of the questions I have in is whether the area is going to be lit for night swimming. And so we're waiting to hear back on that, because that changes, obviously, lighting in pool, lighting around it, everything.
There's also an area for dogs to enjoy, so you can bring your pets, you can bring your dogs. It'll have a covered area.
Where's that in the,
So we
towards the
just,
end of the
yeah,
day.
we just passed it, but it'll come back around, and then we have photos as well.
that was one of the things from the beginning I was hoping you could incorporate.
Yeah, so it had, you know, given the placement of where it would be over on the other side of the building, to me, you'd be able to access it from outside the pool area and inside the pool area, but also shut the dogs off from interacting.
It's a great shot.
And really, the only extension of the existing footprint that we're expanding is on that right-hand side right now. You'll see there'll be a cantilevered wood deck that goes over into a drainage area that we've been told we could potentially do. So we propose that for the additional seating area. So, and then if he wants to bring up some slides.
Yeah. Eric, are you able to bring the photos up by chance? Please.
And Will, just out of curiosity, you mentioned obviously the county, because they're administrating the CDBGR funds, are they reviewing this and giving the okay then to go on to say the 60 and 90%? Or are they just looking at it and then they're gonna review the final project before any bids can be brought in? Or are they
No.
doing it step by step?
Step by step. They have to review every phase. We have to get their approval before we move on to the next phase.
Okay. And have they seen this yet?
Yes, they've seen the 30%, they've seen this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so really, we're at a point where we're definitely a critical standpoint where we would need that feedback from anybody else who wants to be involved with feedback. Because for us, the conceptual design is pretty dialed in from what everyone said they're looking for. We haven't gotten any feedback to lead us to alter it otherwise, which is why we've initiated sending it to engineering. So engineering has started laying this all out and ready to create the formal details for all the individual components. But if there is going to be any potential changes or anything, I would want to wait on that before I move any further with engineering, because then we're just going to be creating new structural details for things anyway. So I definitely want to finalize conceptual design before I move any more forward with engineering. It just doesn't, that's the process we take with each and every design, each and every project. We have to get through that general layout to make sure this is what we want before we put that final engineering plan together. It doesn't make sense to go to the final engineering until we have a final
I
design.
agree.
Sure. Well, it sounded like, at least from Joy and the Board Cab's recommendation, the only structural thing that I heard was the 5'3" to 5 foot as far as structurally, but.
And mainly the other part is going to be just designing. The involved part will be the structural for the rock waterfall and everything else. So, you know, before we move forward and start to really dig in and spend time and money on that, I would like the conceptual to be approved and signed off on to move forward.
Go ahead with your slides. Or your pictures.
All right, so you can see in the initial here in this first drawing, we've got I wish I had a better view of that top pool, but that sun shelf right there is really that extension of what the existing pool is. It's easily done to make the pool bigger as long as we're not going to exceed a depth of 18 inches when making it bigger. We're able to chop down the pool shell ever so much to extend that sun shelf, and we're not going to create any type of cold joint or structural deficiency when we do that. We're very well experienced with that and have done it a number of times, so it's an incredible way to make the pool itself look much bigger than it really is, because all that area just now became a great area for young kids. And I've created a very long step entry, which to me is now going to give all the parents a nice long place to sit and watch their kids slide into the pool off the slides. So just trying to think of the whole environment, how you're going to live there. So that's kind of this first
Jason,
one.
when you said bigger, before you go on, when you said bigger, is that changing the footprint?
I did change the footprint of the larger pool by adding the sun shelf off
Is
to the
that
side.
allowable, Will? We need to know that before we continue.
Yeah, so far we've received no pushback from county on that, but we can, I can verify that
Yeah,
specific question.
I'd almost like to have that in writing from them, that they are okay with that, because that is changing the footprint.
Okay. So, given that, kind of an overview of both here, again, in overall style, going with the tropical, natural look, all the tiki huts, I believe we have 10 to 12 different tiki huts, and combined though to not, and I think in your comment earlier, I actually liked that initial design that had that metal roof building. I think it kind of goes with that Key West look and that natural look, which I think is a very updated and timeless look for the area, and I think it'll go really well. So what I've also done is kind of combine some pergolas and some sail shades to break up that overall tiki so it doesn't get to be too much. So you can see, I feel it really brings an up-to-date kind of contemporary yet natural feature to it all. Let's see. Going through it, the splash pad, we've kind of reinvented the way some of the accessories for the splash pad. Now, this is going to be, depending on budget, my proposal is going to try and actually remove the splash pad and reconstruct it within the same budget because of the plumbing components not being in the same place as some of the others. So if we want to be allowed a little more creative freedom, because it's not a very deep body of water and it's not that big yardage-wise for concrete, it potentially, I have to run the numbers, will make sense to remove it versus the challenges with plumbing I'm going to have.
What's your plan for the hardscape there?
All the hardscape is going to be removed, and then we're going to give you guys a series of different options between either real stone pavers or brick pavers to go back in its place, and whether we want them sand set or mud set. And I'm going to give you guys my recommendations of both practices, maybe in different areas be better. But even driving in here, I can see on the road project that you guys have, thank God you guys had sand set pavers in the middle of the median, because now you guys can access whatever drainage points that you need to without chipping out concrete. And it just, given the storm, I guess I have a new kind of light and look at it, because if we did get floodwaters back in here again and you have movement, if you have a mud set deck, you're basically going to a point where you're going to chop that out and remove it and replace it. Versus if you had a sand set deck, you could do repairs, you could get to things that are broken, you could reset it back to original condition, so it's a little bit more serviceable over time. And so there's definitely pros and cons to both ways we go about it.
Would that be an added cost or a reduction? Is that completely separate?
The decking is a necessity because the decking has been destroyed by the storm. So the decking has no, there's no way I can restore it with proper drainage. So we have to completely remove it, reset drainage points, and make sure this thing's going to drain and
Right.
function properly for you in the
Right.
future.
But we are working with a set budget, are we not?
We are. There's a set grant amount that, for all of our CDBG, DR
Okay,
grants.
and
It
that
has
would
to
be
fall within
included in
that.
all
Yes.
that?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
And I'm very, very familiar and very well versed at monitoring the budget. I'm a design build firm, so every project we design typically goes straight to construction, so we don't design things that we can't afford to do.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so just a couple more looks at it. I think that's the duplicate. Oops. And wanted to show, if I can go back. So back in the corner, I've got some additional pergola areas, locker areas. Also wanted to add, again, to balance the rock work, rock feature on the kiddie pool, which is just kind of an open air, very unique. You can walk through, see through. It's got water falling down on a couple sides. So it's just kind of a unique entrance into that area and creates kind of a cool setting and seating area for people back there. Just a really warm feel. So. And there's kind of your sail shade structures combined with the pergola over here. Just really great seating areas, just gorgeous in its own design with its look. And in the top picture, you can see you've got this big roundabout bench that has actually seating on the inside and outside of the bench. And I've used kind of neat elements, if we could zoom in a little bit more, but I've got almost dock piers that are holding up the bench to give it kind of that nautical look in different things.
Nice.
So there are definitely details and elements to kind of bring in the beach life and, what we got? Might be to the end here, so. And then if you could bring up the final engineered plan showing us the overview layout. So, it's a little hard to read. Obviously, it's a large area, very zoomed out, but that's showing you guys overlaid on the survey that the town just provided us and had done and updated, how everything in this project is fitting to scale and in reality. So, this would be the final layout. We'd be seeking approval conceptually before going to begin final design engineering, drainage plans, everything.
So where on this is the dog part you were talking about,
In the bottom right-hand corner.
behind the building?
Yeah. Behind the.
Current building?
Current, yeah. So it's basically that entire length of that building in between that and the fence of the property. So I would say it's probably about, just offhand, probably 30 by 10 area.
John, questions?
Uh,
Oh, sorry, John King.
Thank you. I guess I'm maybe a concern about when I'm hearing a reduction in the lanes. I think one of the things, the thought behind the competitive lanes was to bring in competitive swim tournaments or meets. I don't know if there's a minimum that they need. I'd hope we look at that, because I think that would be a way to help monetize the pool and help some surrounding hotels bring in those teams and tournaments and things like that. So I'd hope we'd look at that if there's a minimum there. Also, just a thought off the top of my head, a couple weeks ago, having attended a Florida League of Cities meeting, the afternoon of Saturday, the final day, I was done. So I joined my wife at the pool, and I was not impressed with the pool there, to be honest with you. But I was impressed with how many families were there. They were right next to the Atlantic Ocean, and yet more people were at the pool. Right. And I think this is something that could be, as mentioned before, a real destination for families, if nothing else for day trippers and things like that, which would help, again, monetize that asset we have.
Absolutely, absolutely. Definitely agree. And I'm sorry, the first point, your first question.
Swimming lanes.
Competitive swimming. It is my understanding that for competitive swimming, you need the starting blocks, and the starting blocks are going to require greater depth in the pool, and therefore we've just went the other direction because we knew that wasn't a potential option to make that existing pool deeper to accommodate for the swimming blocks and competitive swimming.
All right, good to know. Thank you.
Scott?
Yeah, I think he's correct about the blocks. I think it's got to be a little bit deeper.
I'm going to take his word for it.
Yeah, I've got my grandkids coming to town this week. I wish we could go there. So,
Soon enough.
from a timeline standpoint, if you guys can get together with BORCAB and make some refinements, and then assuming everything's aflow, what's kind of your target date for completion? I know it's
So-
early, but what's our goal?
I guess our first goal would be to wrap up the design and engineering phase, and then going out for construction bid would be the next after that. So we're hoping to wrap up the design and construction phase. It's all going to be based on feedback. If you said we had to finish in 30 days today, I could be done.
Okay. And then construction, permitting, construction, everything else, what would be a good target date to shoot for opening?
Right, so you're going to be looking at anywhere from 8 to 10 months for the construction of the project.
Okay.
Take permitting outside of it. I think you guys might have a little bit of help moving the permits through faster than I'm used to in a normal situation, potentially, but if you gave us a couple months for that, I would call it all in 1 year to completion.
Great, thank you.
And
Looks
that-
beautiful.
And that would be
Thank
from
you.
final approval of the final 100% design? We'd
Correct.
be looking at a year?
Yeah.
Okay. Rebecca?
Yes. Jason, what are the different milestones? So we're at 30% review. What are the additional milestones?
So I guess maybe I was a little bit confused on the milestones. To me, the typical way we do it on a day-to-day, and for all of our projects, commercial to residential, would be the 30, 60, 90 is more of a design phase, not the engineering. So typically I feel I'm actually more at the 90% phase right now, because after 90%, the way the contract is written, we would be moving to engineering, which I've already preempted that just to keep things moving, give you guys detailed information for this meeting, which is fine, but it's a little out of practice. We would rather have a final approved design before going to engineering, but we were pressed to go forward with it, so we did.
Okay, so these milestones are within our contract. They are
Yeah.
separate from Lee County milestones that we may have to meet. That's good to know. So we're closer to the 90.
Mhm.
You'll get together with BORCAP. And then what would be the next one? You said engineering?
Yeah, so
And-
then once engineering was finalized, that would be complete, and then we go to a contractor selection process, which is the final part of our
And then
portion.
construction.
Yeah.
Perfect. My last question is around the waterfalls, the structures, and staffing. Do we know, I'm not sure if you know this answer, Neil, maybe you have some input, or Will. I'm worried about, because kids can hide behind them, will we need additional staff to make sure they have eyes on every area of the pool? How will that change our staffing needs? Do we know that, or is that still
I don't think we
something
know
we need
that
to discuss?
yet at this point. Neil, you can go ahead and, I know, we do have members on staff who were running the pool before. That's what we're basing our current staffing numbers on. I don't think we know yet the specificity
Okay.
of that.
Because that's something that, I'm not sure if it would need to get in the budget this year, but it's something we are going to have to ask the community if they are willing to allow us to add staff and the expense of staff, because they see the value in this beautiful design. Neil, do you have any comments on that you would want to add
I could just add the previous pool.
to the mic?
Make sure it's on with the little green light there. There you go.
Neil Mathis, Parks and Rec Manager for the record. I would just say from the previous pool that we had, we would have up to 5 lifeguards when we were busy, and all 3 features, the lap pool, the kiddie pool, and the slide features were busy and operating. With the blind spots that we could have from the waterfalls, I would say additional, at least 1. But not to say that that's going to be the case all the time. That's when we're at capacity with those different features. So I know budget's still, just beginning. So we're hoping, we get what we're looking for as far as the staff that we've requested. But, also being open generally 7 days a week in the summer, that was the expectation. Off-season, 5 days a week, but those are all going to factor into that.
Okay, well, that's something I want to keep us in front of mind, because we are asking our residents every day, is this service worth it to you? And those are things we'll have to keep in mind. So I thank you. Neil, I'm sure you keep that in the front of your mind as well. That's it for me, Mayor.
Councilor McLean?
No, I don't have any further questions. I think that feedback is going to be important, and keeping an eye on the operational issues is critical, so.
Yeah, I guess the only question I would have is, is there any more obstruction with this current design than the design that's currently there and was being used in the past?
There is, the steel structure for the slide is transparent. Not that I could see that being any more accessible if you were the lifeguard having to be on the other side of it and take care of somebody, equally as restrictive, maybe not as visually, but to me, the lifeguards would be assigned a certain area within their visual peripheral. So that lifeguard would be on that side of the pool. There would be another lifeguard on the other side of the pool. I don't think it would, I think, typically you would have it that way anyway.
Okay.
So,
And I guess my other question would be maybe for Nancy or for staff, is there a way, we're talking about staffing it and cost to staff it, and we don't know yet if it would be more than what it was pre-storm to staff it based on the design that we're seeing. But is there a way to parse this out to make it a user fee coverage, meaning whether it's through pool passes, whether it's through daily, is there a way, kind of like the mooring field, is there a way to make it so that the user fees pay for the operating expenses and the employee costs versus it being a general fund ledger item?
I think that we probably need to explore the issue of a user fee to see if that would be possible to do. Typically, that is how other pools operate with a daily rate that you would pay if you're going to go. If you're a resident, sometimes it's a little less, but.
I think that's always been there. I think
Yeah, I
there
can
was a
speak to
cost,
that.
but is there a way to appropriate that cost directly to the operating and staffing costs?
And I think that's what we're looking at, because clearly the rates, I don't want to, well, I don't want to speculate, but we did have user fee, we had memberships. So we're looking at, when we were open, what we were charging, and, if it makes sense with some of the other facilities,
Yeah.
City of Sanibel, they have a, pool, the county, just, what they charge. And
Well, I
looking
have
at
a
that.
feeling this will be the whole goal was to make it a destination, right? We've heard for decades, nobody knows Bay Oaks is there. This is something that would draw people there, especially in the summer. And the pool did do probably better than anything else before the storm as far as revenue generating to make it as revenue neutral as possible. But I think this is really going to step that game up, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to be able to provide a good amenity and provide a good service while being staffed by fees that cost people to go use it.
And I definitely agree about the feedback, because this pool pushes commercial design in pools. And, you don't see commercial pools done this way because they're not taking the restrictions so closely into consideration that I am, and trying to turn those restrictions into features. And so the pool's been very carefully designed to maximize how beautiful you can make a commercial area, and that's why I honestly don't feel like it looks like one. So, and in the end, I think the residents and the people enjoying the area won't feel like it either.
No, it certainly looks like a resort-style pool.
Beautiful.
That, and one of the big things I get asked all the time is, what is there to do besides go to the beach? Like John was saying, you get families that come, I tell them all the time, well, Bay Oaks, they never heard of it. This will make them understand what it is, and I think TDC would really like to see something like this too, to help drive people to this area. So this will be a benefit to not just us, but Lee County in general.
Absolutely.
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Will, given the timeline, we're talking 8 months to a year, does that change our 27 budget, since our budget ends end of September?
At this time, no. I think we're planning on, when HR and Bay Oaks did the planning on the budgeting for this, they're planning on staff coming on about halfway through next year.
Oh, gotcha.
Because Neil and his team are going to need time to get them onboarded, get them trained, get them, comfortable with the layout and the facilities. So I don't think it changes our 27.
Okay.
But again, we're going to look at some of these design changes we've seen, and I'd like the experts to look at that and see about if we will need additional lifeguards or not. And to Neil's point, it may just be for surge times that we would need, different things, the numbers. So we'll take that, but no changes right now. I think they did a good job, really good job calculating the needs for 27.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The only question I had would, how soon could we get this? I'm assuming BORCAB would like to take a look at it and have, to allow you to get moving with what you need to do.
Yeah.
I think, I haven't heard one person complain about it. I mean, there's been some,
Yeah.
minor adjustments, like 5, I mean, everybody's
Yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
if
we
it's
can get it
possible
on,
to get a-
I think we can get it at next board cab. I think we got plenty of time, don't we, Amy? We can publicly advertise that this will be on the next board cab meeting, if that's okay with Joy and the team. And then also that gives the public a chance to know far enough in advance if they want to attend that meeting as well. So,
Yeah, I'm all for it, move it along.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks, Neil. Public comment.
Yeah.
Howie.
Hi, my name's Howie Hoffman. You all know me. I've been here 28 years. I used to go to the pool every day. It was my country club pool, fantastic. This thing looks great. I'd like to know where they're gonna put the bar. you guys want to make money on it, this is Fort Myers Beach, a recreational place. You go to pools. I'm not talking about a bar in the pool. I'm talking about just some place that parents, families could get a drink. If you look at the one at the lighthouse, the new pool they have there with the running water and things like that, it's fantastic. Alcohol sells here on Fort Myers Beach, and it'll pick up the money that we need to pay for the pool. It's just a suggestion. I don't drink, but it's a suggestion to get more money into the project. Thank you.
Thanks, Howie. And as always, great shirt. You can't see his shirt. It says, "You know what I like about people? They're dogs." Howie. Anyone else? Yes, Joy.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say the Board Cab is not against waterfalls. We love waterfalls, and they're beautiful. We just want to make sure that staffing, Neil, is good and safety is good. We love the notion of a waterfall. Just wanted to be clear on that.
Okay, thanks, Joy. Anyone else? Come on up.
Ellen Vaughn, just a resident of the town. I just want to say this is really exciting. I mean, this is two wonderful things in short order. The sand breaking for the Fort Myers Beach Pier, and now having the pool come back. This is wonderful. Thank you to everyone that's worked so hard.
Thanks, Ellen. Anyone else? All right, we'll close public comment. Next is the...
Is there one more? No.
One more? No?
No, okay.
Next is the approval of the minutes from the town council meeting on August 3rd, 2026. Are there any changes, amendments, or motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion by Councilor Kane, seconded by Councilor McLean. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is a consent agenda. We have nothing. There's nothing removed. There are no public hearings, so we'll move right on to the administrative agenda. The first item is the special event Roar Offshore 2026 Powerboat Races. This is an approval of the Roar Offshore 2026 Powerboat Races special event to be held September 11th through September 13th, 2026 at the offshore of Margaritaville Beach Resort as requested by Roar Offshore Powerboat Races LLC, including authorization for the waiver of enforcement of the town's noise and open container ordinances, use of waterways within the town's jurisdictions, use of applicable town beach property, use of town property subject to final approval by the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District, Lee County Sheriff's Office, and town staff. Will?
I'd like to have Nora, and Nora's up, to go through the status of their special event application, and then we'll discuss. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Will. My name is Nora Skipper. I am the Special Events Coordinator for the town of Fort Myers Beach. First of all, I'm really excited to present the Roar Offshore, their application, of course, for 3 days in coordination with Margaritaville Beach Resorts. To give a really brief overview, the application, I know this is the first time you're seeing the full scope of it. Life Safety, including the Coast Guard, has made many adjustments, including the timeline compared to previous events by the Coast Guard, kind of stretched it a little bit. So this should be the final version given to you now. It's 44 pages, so take your time. I am happy to say, so currently their scope and plan is they would like to use Times Square to show off some of their vessels and teams. They are 32 feet vessels, and they plan to showcase a few in Times Square. They also request to use Westina Way for 2 more teams for logistical support, as well as the Whale is also in coordination to assist with the logistics. There are 18 teams in total, and they're currently being placed in the water at the one particular harbor, formerly Silver Sands property, by crane. And it, of course, goes through 3 days. I do have a representative from Roar Offshore with us today. His name is Randall Truesdale. If council is willing, he is attending via Zoom. Is that amenable?
Fine with me. Anybody have any objection? Nope, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So, Randall, it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you, Beth.
So,
Council, thank you guys for having us. We're really excited about bringing Roar back. And I just wanted to be here so I can answer any questions that, might be on the people's minds and what we can do to make sure our event is a success. and to make sure that we could be able to continue to do this going forward. Being that you guys have not had the races, I believe, since 2021, the last one, obviously, because of Hurricane Ian, we decided to bring our event back. The owners, Sean Torrente and Cole Liable, recently purchased this from Cindy and Tim Hill. We are not bringing the big melee of races. We're bringing more of our super stock class, which is what Sean and Cole Live are both racing. So as Nora was saying, it's going to be, right now it's tentative, but we're between 16 to 18 race teams that will be racing. And what that's allowed us, we don't have to go back and forth across the bridge. We're not doing any of the other events that they used to do, such as the boat parade, which is something I know that really just messed up Estero Boulevard. So with the help of our sponsors, obviously with Margaritaville having the footprint and some of the other properties we've been able to use, we're able to keep everything on the beach, which is going to be great for economic stimulation for any of the people that are coming to visit. Even if they're not participating, it's going to be eye candy for the people and the patrons, the residents of Fort Myers Beach. And it's a family fun environment that I think is going to be a huge win for the businesses as well as the city.
I just have one question for you. It's been reported about the, you're asking for the expansion or forgiveness, I guess, if the town's open container. Are you looking for just specifically within the race perimeter area of where you're going to be staging, or entirely island-wide? Because I believe it's been reported that you're looking island-wide. Is that the case?
No, actually, that was when we originally had submitted. That was part of the submittal, but we don't need the open container stuff. We're not really too concerned about that part of it. And the reason why is that because where the majority of the events are going to be being held, they're actually on host property. There will be some stuff happening in Times Square, and we've spoken with the restaurant owners on Times Square. So that actually was, in the beginning, we were looking at the open container permit, but that's something that we do not need at this point.
Okay. Councilor King, any questions?
Could you explore or explain a little more about what you want from us as far as Wastina Way, what that would entail? Because that is paid parking that could be some money, income for the town during this time.
Understood. Well, we were under the impression, and we had spoken with Margaritaville, because I believe that they had a relationship with you guys in reference to that party. Our goal was to be able to utilize that space to be able to house two of the race teams. That way they would be across the street from 1207 Estero Boulevard, where we'd actually be loading the boats in. And it would also be a place that people would be able to hang out and come and see some of the boats, throughout the race weekend as well. So my understanding was that the Margaritaville GM was in contact with you all in reference to the utilization of that property.
I can speak to that, Randall. This is Will McKenna, Town Manager, Randall. Hey, Randall. Yeah, that was it. I understand your question and your the point you're making, Councilor King, about the potential revenue loss from that part. But I believe allowing them to use the space for those two teams and this event on a weekend where we wouldn't maybe normally have as much activity here on the beach, our activity in our other parking spaces is going to well offset what we might lose in that space. I think it's a good addition, allowing them to have those teams right there in that area, along with that. So I was willing to make that concession.
So we're looking at all 3 days of that for the...
Yes, they'll start coming in on Thursday afternoon, actually Thursday, so from Thursday night through about Sunday morning. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
So do we have, I'm sorry, I'll wait.
That's good. Anything else, Councilor King?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Scott? Not right now. Rebecca?
Yes, so that would be 22 spaces for 3 days?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have the financial impact of that? I think on the previous application, I saw that there was none. I think there's a dollar figure we can say that we are waiving.
I can provide that to you.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Not at this time, but we'll get it together for you.
Again, we're asking our community to, pay for this. That's all my questions for now, Nora, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Counselor McLean?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Yeah, I don't really have any. I think, Will, I think you're spot on when it comes to wasting away. I mean, we have, for previous special events, we've allowed people to use that parking lot because it does benefit the community, it does benefit. So I don't have an issue with it. I know there's a cost that comes with it, but there's also a cost benefit to having the people come to the island, and they will fill up parking spots in other places. But I agree with you, it'd be nice to know what that dollar amount.
It's hard to ask the community for more taxes. I just want them to know.
No, I
What we're
totally
giving up.
understand. I think a fair question would be, would you rather give up some spaces for 3 days, or would you rather have the event? I think.
I don't think
we
it's
know what
the
answer would
event
be.
or give up 3 spaces, Mayor. I'm sorry, I don't.
That's fine.
It is, I mean, these people have funds. They have generously donated a lot of money to our organizations.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I just want to know what it costs the taxpayers, that's
Okay.
all.
Well, would you like to postpone this until you have
No,
that number,
no.
or are you okay with making a decision?
I'm okay making
based
a
on what you
decision.
have? Okay. Anything else?
Mayor, I
Yes,
have
sir.
one
Oh,
comment.
ma'am.
I'm sorry to
That's okay.
interrupt, but I know during the agenda review process, I did raise a couple issues regarding the application. There is a notation in the agenda that there would be a supplementation to the application at the meeting, which we did receive something from Lee County. I would just ask that maybe staff working through Will, that we document and we have a completed application. Just fill in those blanks that we're missing.
Of course, we'll get that corrected. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you so
Or
much.
updated, I guess is the right term.
Okay. So Nancy, do you have any issues with this moving forward to a vote? Based on
No,
what- okay.
no, I think that they've addressed the concerns that we had, getting the sign-off from the fire department and all the things, the questions that have been raised. It's just we need the document that we'd like to put into the record, so it's all signed, sealed, delivered.
Okay. And this is contingent, if it's approved, on fire control, Lee County Sheriff's, so.
Correct. I've never given a permit if I haven't seen any writing from both the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District as well as Lee County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. If there's no other questions for staff, is there a motion for the special event Roar Offshore 2026 Powerboat Races?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Counselor King, seconded by Vice Mayor Safford. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to say, I think the cost benefit on this is an absolute no-brainer.
Okay. Any other discussion? Counselor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Counselor Link?
Aye.
Counselor McLean?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Randall.
Thank you guys for having us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
See you next month.
Thank you.
Next is item B. It's Resolution 26-177. It's an approval of the Advisory Committee Policies and Procedures Manual. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, adopting the Advisory Committee Policies and Procedures Manual, establishing uniform policies, procedures, roles, responsibilities, and expectations for town advisory committees, and providing for an effective date. Will
So I think we have,
or John?
yeah, Amy and Nancy, and I think actually I'd like to see if Counselor McLean wants to start off
Sure.
discussing this.
Yeah, this is the second reading of this. We reviewed it previously. The goal is to provide uniform guidance to all of the advisory committees. I want to recognize that this initiative started with Chris King, as she was the chair of the Anchorage Committee. And still is, thank you. But as she assumed that role, she recognized that there were not clear directions for how the committee should be operated and the types of restrictions that they would have, et cetera. So a lot of this information was absolutely included in our ordinances and code, but it wasn't in a consumable place that would be easily understood and give clear directions. So it was really a lot of great work by staff in reviewing and ensuring and legal between the clerk's office and Amy Nancy, and then, of course, Will and Tracy in review as well. Really came to what I think is a great document to help guide the committee members and give them some clarity. I don't know that there's more to add than that.
I agree. I think, the adoption of this is really going to provide a centralized resource for all of our advisory committees and boards, as where it was kind of spread out throughout, and some didn't have, other than really the one document that said why that committee or board existed, they didn't have a further guideline like maybe Chris King had developed for her committee and so forth. So I really, and I appreciate Councilor McLean's leadership in this and helping us from a counselor's perspective in that across, and then Amy and her office really putting this in the right format. I think this is really going to be a great asset for the staff and all of these committees and boards. That's all I have.
John, the only thing, our local paper reached out to me yesterday asking for specifics on what's changing. To me, it doesn't seem like there's a lot changing. I think you just laid it out, but this is all just putting it all together in the right area. I told him we'd be talking about it today. Perhaps maybe you or Chris would be better to field those questions than I would if there's any substantial changes that need to be highlighted.
It's not that there is changes in any of the regulations. It's really just a clarifying document to ensure that everyone understands how these boards are and should be operated, truly. So there aren't any new rules, new restrictions, et cetera, et cetera. It's really process flow, roles, responsibilities, things like that.
Thank you. Any other questions or a motion for Resolution 26-177?
I'll go ahead and move that, Mayor.
All right, got a motion by Councilor King. I'll second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'll just say, I think my wife did reach out and already has answered some questions from the local press. And I think she shared that information with our PIO and with our town attorney. Also, what Will has said, I think this is a great asset. I know somebody contacted me that recently got on a committee and they were just struggling to figure out how they needed to prepare, how to prepare, what was expected of them, those kind of things. I think this will be a tremendous asset, so thank you.
All right, any further discussion?
I have a few.
Yep, go ahead.
So I too want to thank Chris and John and everyone who worked on this. I love when people know their roles, especially me. One thing I'm wondering if we could add to this, perhaps for the staff liaison role, is that when the committees are meeting and discussing things, they can understand what part of our strategic plan they are discussing. And then as a counselor liaison, we can come back and say, this is misaligned, or this should be reconsidered, so that we don't start work going down a path that the whole community and everyone has already signed off on in our strategic plan. And then people are wondering why we're putting it on the back burner. So perhaps some alignment.
I really appreciate that suggestion, Councilor Link. We'll incorporate that. Similar to how we've started with our, for the agenda preparation and the blue sheets included, the staff includes in those which part of the strategic plan it's aligned with. So we can do the same thing with the green sheets. Is that right, Amy?
It currently has no color.
It has no color for those, for putting those agendas together, but I appreciate the recommendation. We'll incorporate that.
It's good for the committees to know that they are working
Absolutely.
in alignment with everyone else. Thank you. That's it. Great work, too. Thanks, John.
Thank you. We've got a motion by Councilor King, seconded by Mayor Allers. There's no further discussion. Councilor King?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Councilor Link?
Aye.
And Councilor McLean?
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously.
It's a good one.
Thank you. Next is item C, Resolution 26-172, adopting and updating comprehensive emergency management plan. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, adopting an updated comprehensive emergency management plan and providing for an effective date. Will?
Great. So as Jason maybe comes up just to be prepared to talk about in details, but really, this establishes uniform policies and procedures consistent with NIMS for the effective coordination and of resources to cope with a wide variety of natural, man-made, and technological emergencies. And Jason, if you could just maybe do a summary of the changes from last year to this year and that we incorporated.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Freeman for the record. So this is part of that routine process overview. So every couple of years we do what we call a substantial revision to our CEMP. Our town manager, as part of the CEMP, which stands for the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan. So essentially it's the town's guiding framework of how to act in emergency situations. It heavily focuses on hurricanes and storm surge, but it does apply to a variety of different hazards and emergency situations. And so as part of that process, every year with the town manager, we go through and do an administrative update. And then every couple of years, we do send our draft CEMP to our partners, including Lee County, the fire, and sheriff, just to get some input and try and put together a final draft revision, which is what's in front of you today. So major updates to it include just some organizational structure changes. We include the deputy town manager position, as well as an emergency services director, which we did not have in some of our previous plans. And then just aligning a lot of our practices with the county. As well mentioned, we do follow the ICS NIM structure, which does help in emergency situations. And as part of the policy, we want to make sure that we align with the county's processes, more importantly, and then the county does focus on aligning with the state. So I think it's a great document that we've been working on, but with Phil and Riley, and now we have it before you today. So there is an executive summary attached as part of your agenda packet, which will go over a lot of the changes that were made, but nothing really substantial to the process, more so just updating a lot of the positions and the structure to align it with the best practices, and then we continue to put in some lessons learned from Hurricane Ian and Milton and Helene to continue that. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Councilor King, any questions?
Nothing, thanks, Jason.
Vice Mayor Safford?
No, I'm good. Thanks, Jason. Great job with the FROC program.
Thank you. Yeah, we just had our kickoff last week internally, so we're ready to go for next year.
Way to go.
Councilor Link?
Yeah, I was wondering, how does this integrate with the FROC?
Yeah, so a lot of the
Very exciting.
components that we have for the FROC, we actually provide our CEMP as documentation for some of these. Some of the major ones include like our donation policy. The town does have a donation policy, but more specifically for emergency situations, we include in here. The whole FROC program did develop a lot of forms that we've been starting to incorporate, such as documented resources, a lot of our town staff, even in Blue Skies. So normal times are utilizing the FROC daily forms. So those have actually been approved by FEMA as a replacement to what is known as the 214, which is just an individual daily log that staff can use to get documented time for reimbursement from FEMA. But the state has received approval to utilize these FROC daily forms. So every couple of weeks we go through and just see what's been updated with the FROC program and start incorporating a lot of those documents into here. But we're starting to try and do it in Blue Skies just in case us we're prepared. So I think Phil just had some of his team staff members start to fill out these FROC forms, and I know the Public Works and a lot of other staff are filling those out daily just as a good practice. So we utilize a lot of the documents, including the CMP, as documentation for FROC. So it all kind of ties together.
This is something you should all be proud of. I see we do training. Do you do tabletop training or, scenario-based? This would probably be right up Will's alley.
Sure.
Yeah, we definitely have talked about doing some of those. Members of staff do go and participate when Lee County has things at their emergency center, but it is a goal of mine that we start incorporating some of that here at the town staff level, and we'll be doing that.
Nice. Thank you, Jason. Good work.
Thank you.
Councilor McLean?
No, I think it's great work, obviously. It continues to improve our responsiveness and our ability to rebound much quicker to these events. So fantastic job, and we don't want to have any of these have to be enacted, but at least we know what to do when we're
Yeah, it's one of those jokes that a lot of our planning, we hope that we don't actually have to use it, but in that
Absolutely.
case, at least we have it prepared, so.
Jason, will this document, sorry, Councilor McLean, you done?
No, I'm
Okay.
done. Thank you.
Will this document be easily accessible from the town's website?
It will, yeah. We'll update our current copy. And then as part of the process, in between what we call like the substantial reviews, which is when we have town council approve this copy through the resolution, we'll have that posted on the website. And then if we do make any administrative changes, which is allowed by the town manager in between these revisions, we have like an amendment tracker that we'll post online as well, so you can see if we do make any of those administrative updates, exactly what we've changed, and then what we're planning on in the future. So it should be on the town website, and then we also share it with all of our partners too. So
Yeah, I'd encourage anyone, one of the things that happened after Ian was a lot of people didn't feel like they knew what was going to happen. This is a great document to read ahead of time, to know what to expect, who to reach out to if you need to, because all the information's in there. It'll tell you what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. So it's a read, but it's worth going through to understand exactly what kind of preparation is going in year long to be able to respond to any kind of emergency situation. So
Sure.
If you get a chance, go out there and get on there and read it. Thanks, Jason.
cool, thank you all.
If there's no other questions, is there a motion for resolution 26-172 for the updated comprehensive emergency management plan?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Counselor Link, seconded by Counselor McLean. Any further discussion? Counselor Link?
Aye.
Counselor McLean?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is item D, Resolution 26-175, renewal of health and supplemental insurance for fiscal year 26-27. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, approving the renewal of Cigna for medical insurance, the renewal of supplemental insurances through Standard, and transferring dental and vision insurance coverage to Cigna for fiscal years 2026 to 2027, and providing for an effective date.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Before
sir.
you step out, Talisa, did you want to start off anything here? I know Talisa, our HR director, did invite a broker to come here to go through the changes, but I don't know if Talisa had anything she wanted to say in the beginning.
Hi, Talisa Oliveira, HR Director for the record. It's that time of year again where we renew our insurances. We've worked really closely with Athena Urchard and her team, who have been fantastic. They're our insurance brokers. They're with Brown & Brown. And so, yeah, I'll turn it over to Athena. And I'll be on standby for any additional questions after.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, town manager, deputy town manager, town clerk, and town attorney. As Talisa mentioned, my name is Athena Urchard. I'm from Brown & Brown, and we have the privilege of working with the town on your employee benefits program. So up for renewal this year is the medical insurance, and we're recovering from a high prior year where the claims experience loss ratio was over 100%. This year, we successfully, initially the renewal came out at a 14.5%. We were able to negotiate that down to an 11%, and then further reduce that to a 9.9% with the addition of the dental and the vision insurance bundled with Cigna, which actually has other synergies because folks that suffer from kidney disease, maternity claims, heart disease, Cigna has an internal processing system where they look at the claims on the medical side and the dental side, and they're able to identify chronic risks when they have both of those systems talking to one another, which they do. So the reduction from the 14.5% to the 11 saved $45,000, and then the additional, adding the dental and the vision was able to further reduce that by another $14,000. The dental rates remained unchanged for the move from Standard to Cigna, and then there was a small decrease in the vision insurance of 1.7%. So overall, the impact to the town, when you look at all of the coverages, because the life insurance and the disability insurance remaining with Standard does not have any change to the benefits or the rates.
So altogether, on page 2 of this executive summary, the impact to the town would be an additional 110,000, and the total additional impact would be overall 126,779. And then the impact to the employees would be an additional $677. So just to give everybody some background on the landscape of what we're dealing with medical insurance, because it's not a subject that we obviously take lightly. I work in it every day. And this has been a particularly difficult renewal year. We're very sensitive to what everyone has going on from a property tax standpoint. And I have seen renewals this year, unlike any other year, where I have 7 employer groups with renewals in excess of 30%, some even 40 and 60%. So we're seeing a much harder market. It's always been a difficult market. A lot of those drivers for these plan costs are more difficult negotiations with the provider community. They have invested in sophisticated technology to run their businesses that include AI. We're also seeing an increase in behavioral health inpatient stays, and just more difficult negotiations, because as providers band together into larger groups, that makes it more difficult for the insurance company to negotiate a lower discount with that provider. We also have the impact of high-cost specialty medications that we're seeing. In our self-funded space, we're also seeing very high renewals on the stop-loss side for those self-insured customers. PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is another, they look at a lot of different markets, and every year they come out with what their prediction is going to be for the medical insurance side. It's the highest it's been in 17 years, and they're predicting medical trend for 2027 to be increasing from 8.5% to 9%. So we are seeing a very difficult market.
Just thank you, Athena, for the work that you've done collaboratively with Talisa and the team to minimize that increase as much as possible. I really appreciate that, cognizant of us, trying to look across all of our expenses, as I've talked with the council about before, to minimize our budget increases. This is a very valuable and important thing for our staff and the services that they're able to provide then to the community. So I think it's a very valuable and necessary part of our total compensation package. As noted by Athena, there's an increase for the staff. There will also be an increase for the town. There will also be an increase for the employees, with this. And I'm glad that you did mention that, be very transparent about that, Athena. So I am recommending approval of this that we're bringing forward to you today, to include the shifting of the dental and the vision over as well. So.
All right. Councilor McLean, any questions?
I think for Talisa, actually. Have we benchmarked I understand that it's about retention and employee, the very important part of the entire compensation package, and how we can attract and retain our employees. Have we benchmarked our benefits packages against other towns, and where do we sort of stand on that?
Sure, that's an excellent question. We have just acquired a compensation and classification software called TrueComp, and it gives us the ability to update our pay plan, but also benchmark our benefits against our comparators. So we are in the process currently of doing that. We did benchmark insurance with Gearing Group a few years ago, and I believe our insurance was performing in the 80th percentile. We have a very low deductible of $250. We pay 100% of employee costs. We pay 50% of dependent costs. So the increase that you see will be going to those with dependents, because those costs are higher. But I'm very excited to have the software, so we have more data to show where we're trending against our comparators in the market.
And when do you expect that you'll be able to run that?
We should be able to run it before the fiscal year. I'm trying to get the pay plan updated before the fiscal year, so before 10/1.
But not before budget. I'm sorry.
Well, we can, I mean, if that's the will of the council and the town manager, I can push the benefits ahead and go ahead and get that built out.
I think it's really in this very challenging time, and I do want to say I very much appreciate consolidating the plans in order to unlock further savings that you wouldn't see otherwise. Believe me, I think that's fantastic. The typical benefits plan and the employee contribution of it, I would really be interested to understand what is typical in municipalities such as ours. Because I do know, coming from the corporate world, the employee contribution part of it is much more significant than it is here. I was surprised by it when I learned about it, but I do understand that there are differences between private sector and public sector. So I just want to ensure that we are not outlying in a typical public sector package.
Absolutely. Definitely in public sector, it is more common, right, that our benefit package is strong and that we're covering the cost of employee insurance, but I'd be happy to provide you that data. You know, I hear it constantly that we are competing for employees with Lee County, with Collier County, that their benefit package, their insurance cost less to the employees for dependent care than ours. So it's, you know, definitely something. That's why I wanted to get the compensation software so that we could provide you that data. I'll be happy to push that forward so that we can give you a snapshot of how we're competing with our competitors and give you a comparison between what we offer and our comparators in this area. And I also pulled for more island communities similar in size to ours as well. So I'd be happy to provide that for you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Athena.
Athena. So you mentioned that you've seen some plans that are going up 30%, 40%, et cetera. The 11% increase where does that stand in the other customers or areas that you're working? Where does it sort of fit in?
I would say because I obviously have colleagues that work on other cases as well, I would say that the 11% and ultimately a 9.9% because with the bundling, then I would say having a renewal in the high single digits is faring very well compared to what I've seen.
Well, you had referenced the PwC report that said 9%, and so
But in Florida, we typically run, so that's a national number, a national trend number. Florida typically runs about 2 to 3% higher because we have such a high Medicare population here in the state.
Thank you, that's helpful. No further questions.
Councilor Link?
Yes, so, Talisa, I think it's fair to say that the insurance, I think maybe you answered it, the insurance renewal runs the same calendar year as our fiscal year, or close to it?
Are you speaking of how our claims run against our fiscal year?
No, signing up for a new package. Are they, 10/1 through 9/30?
Yes, we hold open enrollment in September for our plans that start 10/1.
Perfect. So then, can I assume that these numbers that you shared with us are in the fiscal year 26, 27 budget?
Yes, I double confirmed with Jeffrey, but yes, they are in our budget.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay.
Vice Mayor Safford.
John asked my question. That data would be fantastic to have, so.
And if it would be helpful, I know John said he wanted to make sure we are not an outlier. Brown & Brown, they're the lead insurer for benefits in the public sector. So if you would like for Athena to speak to that a little bit for your decision today, if that would be helpful, I'm more than happy, and I'm sure she's more than happy to give you just a general, consensus of that.
I think she answered that for me when I asked her. Thank you, though.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor King?
I guess my question is more along the process. When I'm going out getting bids on my car insurance or my house insurance, do that every 6 months to a year, I get so many and then I whittle it down. Is that what we've done here, or did we just start with 2 and negotiate it from there?
So we went out for RFP in 2023, and we also went out for RFP in 2025. And in health insurance, you want to be on a 3-year cadence as much as possible. So since we issued an all lines RFP last year, we didn't issue one this year because the town was still recovering from a very high 2024 year where some of those claims spilled over into 2025. And you want to build a relationship with a carrier, because if you go out to market in health insurance too often, the market tracks all of that, and I have seen instances where you will not receive any proposals, and then you're in a situation where there are no options. So a 3-year rule of thumb is there are exceptions to that, as you saw in 2023 going out for market in 2025, but that's typically what we like to see. It would not have been in the town's best interest to go release another RFP on the heels of last year.
Okay, I guess I kind of understand that, because the sad part of going out as a person to get a bunch of quotes is you do that, it dings your credit rating. But I know in the past we had, through the Florida League of Cities, the FMIT, we had to move away from them because they were too expensive. I don't know if that would still be the case or not. If
They were the carrier that you had prior to
Correct.
Cigna, yes, and they were still recovering from the very high loss ratio that the town had when they were under their coverage. Yes, they would not have placed a proposal on the table this year.
Okay, thank you.
You guys have answered all my questions, so I appreciate it. Is there any other discussion or a motion for Resolution 26-175 for the renewal of the health and supplemental insurance for fiscal year 26-27?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 26-175.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we got a motion by Counselor McLean, seconded by Counselor Link. Any further discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, I'll just, not a discussion as much as a thank you. I know this isn't easy every year. It's very time consuming, but I appreciate, Lisa, how you have always handled this, looking out for the taxpayers and trying to get the best not only for our employees, but at the lowest cost for our taxpayers. So thank you.
Thank you so much, John.
All right.
And thank you, Athena.
Yes, thank you. All right, any other discussion? Counselor McLean?
Aye.
Counselor Link?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford? Aye. Counselor King?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. That brings us to item E. This is Resolution 26-173, ratifying acceptance of 180 cubic yard sand donation. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, ratifying acceptance of a donation of 180 cubic yards of beach-compatible sand having an estimated fair market value of $13,500 from Millworth Group, Inc., the contractor for the Bahama Beach Club condominium project located at 5371 Estero Boulevard, for adoption to the town's sand stockpile at the Bay Oaks Recreational Campus to be used for beach hotspot maintenance and emergency sandbagging, consistent with the town's donation policy and providing an effective date. Will?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, the previously stated contractor did reach out to the town through our environmental manager, Chad Schutz, and offered to donate the town 180 cubic yards of beach-compatible sand originating from their project site, at the Bahama Beach Club. The sand has already been accepted. I'm seeking ratification to council today. We've got it over at Bay Oaks. We required the contractor to screen the sand to Florida Department of Environmental Protection Standards, and for their engineer to sign off on it, which those tasks were completed before we accepted the sand.
Very good. Counselor McLean, any questions for staff?
No, I don't.
Counselor Link?
Yes, I do have a couple, so I'm glad that screening was done at their charge. About the value, who values the donation? Was that the donor, as we require in our policy, that they assign the value?
Yeah, my understanding, we got the value from the donor.
Perfect, okay. And did we also follow our donor policy, or perhaps this one was even before we had our donor policy in place?
No, the donor policy.
Isn't donations over 10,000 come to council?
It is donations over 10,000, valued at more than 10,000 that come before council. Correct.
But I think that was prior to us coming up with that donation policy, so that is.
No,
okay.
that donation policy has been in
I
place.
think, Will, this was
Oh,
over
okay.
the summer, wasn't it?
It
And
was.
so this is just something coming back to you when you were not in session. Otherwise, he would have brought it to you, but, I mean, what are we going to do? Reject the sand?
It's
No,
more of a
no, no,
timing
I'm
issue.
just making
Yeah.
sure.
The donation policy has been in place.
Oh,
It-
okay.
It's not, this isn't because we just put in place a donation policy, if
Got
that's
you,
what you're.
got you.
saying.
Yes,
Okay.
I thought that donation policy was new. That had been in place.
Understood.
Got you, thank you. That's it.
Okay. Vice Mayor Safford, any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, Counselor King?
No questions, just thank you for the donation.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the donation. I did not
Thank
have any
you.
questions either. If there's no other questions, is there a motion for Resolution 26-173 to ratify the acceptance of 180 cubic yard sand donation?
So moved.
Got a motion by Counselor King,
Second.
seconded by Vice Mayor Safford. Any further discussion?
Once again, since this is for sandbags, I hope we don't have to use it.
From your lips to God's ears.
Amen.
All right, Counselor King,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford,
Aye.
Counselor Link,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Brings us to item F. It's STA number 1, Tidewater 26-14-PW. This is a motion to not ratify supplemental task authorization number 1 to the agreement between the town of Fort Myers Beach and Tidewater Landscape of Florida LLC under ITB-26-14-PW for the Bay Oaks Park Sod and Irrigation Project in a lump sum not to exceed amount of $232,500 until adequate funds are identified for completion of the project, directing the town manager to cancel any previously signed STA for this purpose and providing for an effective date. Will?
Yes, as stated in there, Mr. Mayor, I am at this time asking to not ratify this, so we bring that project forward. It was just for full disclosure to the council and everything, and everyone else. It came to my attention over the last couple of weeks that we did not have the full amount of the funds required within the Park Impact Fee Fund for the project due to some previously charged projects to the park impact fees not being, that individual not being aware that those charges were still pending out of the park impact fee. Therefore, we don't have enough in there for this. We'll continue to move forward with planning for this project when the funds do become available. And at that time, after all the due diligence required, I'll bring that back before council.
Counselor King, questions for staff?
Can I
Yeah,
add real
absolutely.
quick?
Yeah, thanks,
I
Casey.
think Tracy has already worked on canceling the STA, so that part of the recommendation.
That
they've
part is already
it.
done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Counselor King?
Yeah, I guess this is almost kind of embarrassing. I think we need to do a better job of getting handles on things before they come to light, I guess. That this is something that we should have known before it was brought to us, so I'm sorry, but I'm disappointed in that.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Yeah, I want to echo that too, because I was the one that asked the direct question if we had a budget, and kind of, it doesn't look good. So I hope that if we are going to walk something on, that we've got all our facts straight from the get-go.
Counselor Link?
Yeah, same. I think sometimes walking on is a good thing, but it may mean we skip a few steps because we're anxious to do something, so. That's
Okay.
my comments as well.
Counselor McLean?
I echo my fellow council members. I do have a question. Was there any cancellation fees or anything from the provider?
No.
Thank you.
I guess I'll take my comments a little step further. I've always been one that you can't go backwards. You can't go back and change what's happened. I'm more interested in what we're going to do to ensure this doesn't happen again. Obviously, what we're going through with the town hall property, it seems to have spilled over then into now this. What processes are we working on or putting in place to ensure that this doesn't happen again, where we all have to sit up here and eat crow essentially for something that was very easily preventable?
I'm working on lots of, well, we've already made some process changes, and I will ensure that I'm working with finance and the departments to make sure that, especially in this case, it's not an excuse, it's absolutely because we walked this on, but to make sure that we have a process in place for those procedures as well, so we don't skip any steps that we do in a normal blue sheet process.
Okay. Just slipped my mind, the other question. I wanted to point out that we already had under contract Tidewater for other things, so this wasn't a cancellation of them doing other things. This is just an additional scope of the work that they've already been approved to do.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. That's all I have. If there's no other questions or comments, is there a motion for Resolution 26-174 STA number 1 Tidewater 26-14-PW to not ratify the supplemental task authorization?
So moved, Mayor.
Okay, got a motion by Counselor Link.
I'll second.
Seconded by Counselor McLean. Any further discussion? Counselor Link?
Aye.
Counselor McLean?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is item G, Resolution 26-180, fiscal year FY 6-27 TDC grant authorization. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, authorizing the mayor to execute 2 tourist development tax grant agreements for fiscal year 2026 to 2027 between the Lee County Board of County Commissioners and the Town of Fort Myers Beach for a shoreline maintenance 401895 and Albatross Beach access 403445 and providing an effective date. Will?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I've got Carolyn and Greg up to discuss these in detail for you. Go ahead, Carolyn, you want to start off?
Okay. So this is Resolution 26-180. This resolution authorizes the mayor to execute 2 tourist development tax grant agreements with the Lee County Board of County Commissioners for fiscal year 26-27. They total $905,375. These are bed tax dollars restricted to beach and shoreline purposes. This is outside revenue coming back to the town, not general fund dollars going out. Both agreements are cost reimbursement, effective October 1st of 2026. The town pays first and invoices the county monthly. Both require quarterly status reports within 25 days of quarter end. And reimbursement is gated on those reports being current. A late report stops payment. Both require evidence of substantial activity within 6 months, carry 3-year record retention requirements, and may be amended only in writing by both governing bodies. The resolution authorizes execution. The first project is 401895, Beach and Shoreline Maintenance. The award is $879,108. It's classified as a maintenance grant. The term runs October 1st through September 30th of 2027, with the final reimbursement request due within 30 days after that. There is no carryover. Anything unspent or unencumbered at year end is lost and must be re-requested in the next application cycle. 3 Mound House items are expressly ineligible: the kayak launch, the observation pier, and the boat dock. Beach patrol salaries are reimbursable only for the portion of time spent on beach maintenance. Time spent on enforcement is not reimbursable. The second project is 403445, the Albatross Beach access. The award is $26,267 for beach access improvements at Albatross Street. This is classified as a capital grant. It's effective October 1st of this year and runs until the work is complete and paid, with a 3-year outside limit. And there are no special conditions attached to this award, and there is no town match.
Greg?
Greg Bensek, Assistant Director of Public Works. To kind of go off of what Carolyn was saying, basically the Albatross access is something that we have down on our side here. It's a little further away from all our other accesses. It would be a great impact and accessibility for visitors and residents to get to our shoreline easily. And I think everything that I kind of looked at, what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it, I think is a great thing for the town.
Okay, Counselor King, questions for staff?
No questions.
Scott?
So just to recap, we don't actually get the funding. The funding's reserved for us, and we get paid as we have invoices submitted to the county. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
So that leads to my question, Carolyn. Thank you for the way you've laid that all out. It's beautiful. So this, I'm sure, is in the 26-27 budget, or will be considered.
I believe it will be, yes.
Okay. My next question to you would be cash flow. So we would assume that we have enough cash flow coming in so that these expenditures could go out. But do we need to know that we have it all right now? Or do we look at it like there are different times in the year? We get ad valorem taxes more during certain quarters of the year. We may have more expenses.
You can look
Is
at
that
it
making,
way.
is that making
That does
sense?
make
Or
sense. Mhm.
So the budget is one big number, but we can manage the cash flow quarterly or monthly based on amount of work done, don't go past this, because we're
With
going to
this-
get revenue.
With
Don't go
these
past
grants
this.
specifically, these are monthly reimbursements, and so timing should be closer to our expenditures.
Perfect. That's even cleaner. Thank you.
Yeah, Counselor Link?
No, that would be me.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
done.
I'm sorry.
The
Counselor
other
McLean, I'm
counselor,
looking
right?
at you, talking to him.
The exclusions for the kayak launch and the observation deck at the Mound House, I'm just interested why those are called out specifically.
I don't have the reason why those are called out, but this is a specific grant towards the beach and shoreline.
And the types of maintenance activities that this would entail?
I don't have the specifics in front of me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can get those for you.
Yeah, I could probably answer, but Scott is the
looking for
TDC
the-
consultant.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could probably, or the liaison, I'm sure he could probably answer your question.
Just the type of, high level.
Well, high level, it's not beach and shoreline. So,
Mound House, yeah.
but the one great thing is we as the TDC, we had a budget meeting back in April, I believe, and I think we're just $1,000 short from that 800. And so there was a lot of cities that asked for money and didn't get it, and we pretty much got 99% of what we asked for.
Thank you for your work on the TDC, Scott. Thank you.
Trying to get the money back, right? So,
For sure.
But no, the main reason is the Mound House was not beach and shoreline.
Got it.
Greg, you can talk specifically to what beach maintenance activities tie into this, please?
So we do have somebody from TDC that works at the Mound House, which those two new structures would be able to be taken care of from that person. We do, under TDC, do have another vacancy that we could put at the Mound House to ensure that those two are being taken care of. So that's fine. For beach accesses, that's just to beautify and maintain. Obviously, our beach access is the 26 that we have. Planting, row piling, vegetation, replanting, tree work, signage, like I said. But for those two specifics, I think the Mound House would be covered under those two employees, and I don't see us having a problem with that.
Great job, Caroline, with the presentation. I think that's great. It's probably been the most informative, since I've been paying attention or been on council, that someone has laid out exactly how the grants work. But I think it's important to point out that these grants these historically have been very good for the town through the TDC, even pre-storm, with getting money back for the Mound House for beach renourishment. So if there's any concern out there that these grants may be in jeopardy, this is something that the town has been doing very successfully for quite a long time. I don't want to say it's a rinse and repeat, but it's difficult, as Scott understands, to get funding from TDC. And I think historically our staff has done a great job of ensuring that not only do we get the appropriation or the grant request in on time and getting it reimbursed, but we've done a great job of budgeting for it and getting reimbursed quickly. So I think that shows a history of being able to achieve the goal of getting what is specifically laid out to do what we need to. It's a very tight to Scott's point, it's a very small window of what fits in beach and shoreline. Even though it's on the beach or it's on the shoreline, it doesn't necessarily meet the requirements that the state has put in place for us to follow.
Yeah, just for the record, the budget for the TDC for beach and shoreline was 12.9, almost 13 million, and we got almost $1 million of that back. And we were able to do the budget without tapping into the TDC's reserves, which
That's big.
it's huge. So I think the entire TDC did a great job recommending the beach and shoreline projects that we did have countywide, and we were a great benefactor of it. So
Well, and obviously the pier is something that,
well, that's where the reserves. That's why we don't touch our reserves,
Exactly.
because a lot of that money from the TDC came from the reserve fund,
Right.
and a lot of communities are asking for, hey, we want to build a park, and they want to tap into reserves. What they don't realize is the next year they're going to have maintenance on that park. So we're trying to do projects that create tourism, but at the same time don't go after our reserves. So, great job. Thank you so much. That was very informative.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Just to echo on what you said, I think it's very important in lieu of what's been happening this month that folks be reassured. Carolyn, I think you did a great job today. Thank you for that. And working and talking with Will over the past few weeks, I have no doubt that changes and processes are in place to ensure that things are done accurately and on time. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you both. All right, if there's no discussion, or if there's nothing else, is there a motion for Resolution 26-180 for fiscal year 26-27 TDC grant authorizations, just for, in that it's missing the two at least on this printed out piece of paperwork. And in the agenda packet, it's there, but it's not on the printed version.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion by Vice Mayor Safford,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Link. Any further discussion? Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Councilor Link?
Aye.
Councilor McLean?
Aye.
Councilor King?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Brings us to our final public comment. Howie?
Hi. As I was going past the come here today by the Seagrape projects, people are parking there on the street and then throwing their garbage all over the place. The town does a great job. They're trimming everything that's on the sidewalk. It looks beautiful, but everybody's dumping everything. I have pictures. I've sent them to Will. And they need to clean it up before they go up 17 stories.
Thank you, Howie. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Town managers items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to start off with just quickly answering Councilor Link's question from earlier today. For those days for the Roar Offshore, the Wastina Way would be approximately $4,000 in total parking that we would be, in total,
Thank you.
that we would be, not charging for that week. But again, I'd like to go back to as I have been looking at the past few weekends, I look at our other public parking areas, especially that side of town. I expect them all to be full for this event. So we'll more than make up for that.
Thank you for
But
that.
thanks for the good
It is
question.
less than I thought it would be, so.
Great, thank you. So next, I'd like to talk about the charter school committees and thank the community who members for the great input we've received so far with applications for those charter school committees. However, we still have some where we've maybe not reached the mark for applicants that we'd like. So I'd like to just, for everybody listening, to further encourage those community experts or community members who just want to get involved and help us with that project or help us determine the feasibility of that project, more importantly. And so for facilities, we have one applicant for the facilities committee. We need at least two more to apply, to be part of that. For governance, similar situation, need at least two more to apply for the governance committee. For finance, we have a couple. We need at least one more for our finance committee. And for human capital, we have one. We'd need at least a couple of more to apply. So again, I'd like to ask the community again, the information is on our website. We will have our Public Information Officer again push that out through our social media. And counselors, I just ask that you too reach out through your networks and ask for volunteers for those committees. The deadline is September 10th for applications. Oh, yeah, and we also put an insert into the water bill for this month too, for those who maybe wouldn't look on the website or others. So I did, it's been a little bit over a week now, and I responded back to the school district on the draft ILA that they sent out, the most recent draft ILA that they sent in coordination with Nancy and with Becky Vos and with Tracy. We reviewed that document, redlined it, and made some edits, recommendations back. It's been a little over a week. I haven't gotten an update. Since now it's reached another milestone, I'll reach back out to the deputy superintendent for an update on their response. I'd also like to just notify the council that I'm appointing Dr. Tracy Kohler, Deputy Town Manager, as the Interim Community Development Director during this time. So approvals at the directorate level will be done by Tracy going forward until further notice. And I'd like to add what was mentioned at the beginning by several council members, my congratulations to Aaron, the Bay Oaks team, who just does a tremendous job for us with numerous things, but definitely the recognition so well deserved for Aaron at the recent county level recognitions. That's all I have.
Okay. Town attorney items.
No items.
I do have one question for you, I guess, since we're on. Have you made any headway with looking into the sister city thing that we were talking about a few weeks back through the state level?
I have not made contact with the governor's office regarding that, no, but I will.
Okay. I'd just like to let them know one way or another as soon as we could. If that's something, so it can come back to council for the discussion, if it's able to happen through state statute. All right, town council member items and reports. Councilor McLean.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Link.
Nothing new.
Vice Mayor Stafford.
All right.
Councilor King.
I just want to say this, that I think it's a misnomer by some, not everybody, that it's a paid vacation that we have two individuals on. And having known these individuals and seen how they busted their butts for this town, that's not accurate. But I understand the concern about employees being on a paid administrative leave. And Mr. Town Manager, it's your town to run, but I don't know if there's anything that these individuals can do as far as working from home that could still make a contribution to this town. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know, Will, if you want to respond to that or not, it's up to you, but or just take it under advisement.
I appreciate it. I'll take it under advisement. It was something that was discussed initially, and it'll continue to be something that I review on a periodic basis with the HR director and the deputy.
All right, I do not have anything to add to that at this time, so if there's nothing else to add, John?
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. With that, I'll move to adjourn.
Is there any?
Wow, Green Day.
Wow. Is there any objection? All right, we are adjourned at 11:34.